Hey, Fran, good afternoon. Any update on CJ and if he'll be able to go on Friday night?
No, no update.
Don Doxey?
Yeah, Fran, you've had this 8-day break in the schedule, which I know is less than ideal. Has there been anything positive out of having this much time off?
I don't think so. I mean, other than, I guess the one thing would be CJ's got more time. I think you got to look at that from a positive standpoint. He's been able to get in the training room and try to get healthy. We did spend a couple of days working kind of on ourselves and not so much on our next opponent, which now they're going to come quick, so it'll be a little different.
John Schaefer?
Fran, what have you seen out of Jordan Bohannon? No one's harder on himself or on themselves than he is. What have you seen out of him this last week?
I would say this, for him, kind of business as usual. He's had bad games before. He's had great games before. He's usually, very consistent, very competitive, plays really intelligently, and I have no doubt he'll bounce back.
Rick Brown?
Yeah, Coach, when you recruited Garza, Bohannon, Wieskamp, did you think they had potential to be 1,000-point scorers, or has any of that surprised you?
No, I think I would have expected them all to be 1,000-point scorers, and I think they would have expected it too. I mean, you don't always think of a guy being a 2,000-point scorer. That's a little different. But as I said many times, I felt that Luka would be a star in this league pretty much from the minute he got here. To put the numbers up he did as a freshman is really hard to do in this league. And he was terrific, and I thought he was really good with Tyler. So, it's been fun watching those guys produce the way that they have. I'm proud of them, but I'm happy for them. Happy for them, happy for their families.
David Eichhold?
Yeah, good afternoon, Fran. How would you describe the intensity of this Iowa-Illinois rivalry? It really seems like it's sort of been ramping up for the past couple of years, and last year, obviously, the two exciting games down the stretch.
Yeah, I think I look at it like this. Every game in our league is intense, physical, a lot of emotion. They were two good teams just going at it last year. Both games came down to the last 30 seconds. And, we have, respect for them, just knowing, who they have, and they're proven the last couple of years that they're, a team capable of winning at this level. And they're a team that I think no matter who they play is going to have that team's full attention.
Chad Leistico?
Hi, Fran.
Okay.
I feel like I asked you this last year a couple of times too, but with CJ, is it the type of thing where are you going to try to play him a few minutes if you can, or is it just get him healthy for the long term here and sit out some games if he needs to?
That, Chad, is always the most difficult position for a coach. And I typically just rely on my medical staff in situations like that. Can he go? Can he give it a shot? If he waits longer, will that really help his long-term benefit, which will obviously help our long-term benefit as a program, as a team. So, a lot of times, coaches say day to day because they're trying to duck the questions, but it's really legitimately day to day with him.
So you're not worried? Are you worried it's long term at all, or is it more of a short term thing in your mind, if you can specify?
I would say this. It's possible that it could be something that lingers. But our hope is that we can get rid of it.
Mike Halas?
Fran, Io DeSumo is clearly an elite player. What, in your mind, separates him from just the common, very good player in college basketball?
I think it starts with the fact that he plays both ends. A lot of scorers don't defend. He defends. But he's kind of got a complete skill set. He gives it up. He's got an in-between game. He's got a three-point shot. He can get to the rim. he kind of plays at his pace, and he plays well at the end of the game.
Tom Kakert,
Fran, what have you seen from Kofi Coburn this year in his development? It seems like he's kind of taken another step.
Yeah, I thought he was pretty good last year, Tom. He is in really good shape, I think. I think that was important to him to get in phenomenal shape. He was always big and strong, but I think his stamina is better. He's just more comfortable in their system. He's more comfortable with the guys that play around him. I think he's a little more versatile. He was more one-dimensional last year. He's not so much this year. I think he's really improved, kind of at both ends. He's trying to impact the game at both ends. Guys shooting 70% from the field. Pretty impressive.
Rick Brown,
Coach, obviously Luke is in a position to be the nation's leading scorer second time in school history, Murray Weir being the other. Is there any value to that for the program wise, or is it just a nice subplot to a season?
Oh, I think there's always value when you have somebody like Luka. He's a guy that when people get to know him, they just appreciate who he is as much as what he does. He's been a great leader. He's a phenomenal teammate. One of the most consistent players I've ever been associated with. So there's definitely value to people saying, hey, look at this young man and what he represents and how hard he works and what he's accomplished. So it says a lot about him, but ultimately it'll say a lot about the program.
John Bonenkamp,
You were talking about Luka the other night. He took a lot of ownership in making sure that this team stays focused the rest of the year. What's it like from a coaching standpoint to have him and a lot of other guys on the team that do that?
Yeah, I'm not surprised either. I don't think you were either. I mean, that's just kind of who he is. He felt really bad. I mean, he had 28, but he'll remember the 2 shots he missed in that one stretch where, we couldn't score. We were struggling to score. He puts a lot of pressure on himself. And like you said, he takes responsibility. He's not a guy that gets 28 and then blames everybody else when we lose. This is not who he is. He's going to blame himself. He's going to take responsibility and ownership, and he's going to work that much harder in practice and say the right things in the locker room. And as you can expect, that makes my job so much easier.
John Schaefer,
Fran, you still have a dozen games left on the schedule. Does this season feel like it's been moving faster or slower compared to years past for you?
I think probably slower, because we're getting bogged down in discussions that have nothing to do with, I guess that ultimately have everything to do with, but seemingly nothing to do with basketball itself. We're talking about when we're going to play these other games and is everybody healthy and how about testing and all that kind of stuff. So it does kind of bog things down a little bit, but our guys have been tremendous with their maturity and handling it all.
go back to Chad Leistikow.
The Michigan State game obviously is you expected there might be some 2-day turnarounds. Do you have any input on when that game, time of day, would that help you to be earlier in the day, for example, since you have a Thursday night game or anything like that?
Yeah, the league is really trying to work with all of us in these situations because we're obviously not the only team that is in the situation. Some teams are coming out of pause and some teams are just trying to get the games in. They're trying to be fair. There's going to be some teams that have a 1-day prep and other teams that have more days. They're trying to do the best they can. So do we have input? Yes, we have input. But at some point, you're going to be handed a schedule and you got to go play it. And that's fine with me.
All right. Anything else for Coach today? All right. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, Luka, thanks for taking the time. Obviously, with the way last year ended, with the final play of last season, how much did that play in that one-on-one against Coburn kind of drive you in this offseason? How hungry are you to get back at those guys and have another shot at them?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, when your season ends, you always think about the last game because it's just the last imprint, on your mind. And obviously, that game was, a great game. We kind of got down in a hole, got down a little bit, but we fought back and got ourselves back in the game. A lot of players made some key plays down the stretch. Connor was really good. Bakari Evelyn hit a really good three in the corner to put us back in that game. So, it was a tough one, and obviously it coming down to the last shot, and me not being able to, get a good shot off. We didn't have that much time, but it definitely is something that sticks in your head, and what could I have done better? Could have I made a better move, or whatever the case may be. We're just really, excited for this matchup. We know, how important this game is to us, and like I always say, the next game is the most important game on our schedule. So, we're really focused, and we're going to try to stick to the game plan, to execute the game plan to the best of our abilities.
Tom Kakert.
Luca, what have you seen from Coburn in terms of his development this year, and what's he going to challenge you with on Friday night?
Obviously he's just very physically dominant. He's really good on the glass. He's been blocking shots. He's doing a lot what he did last year, but even better than he was last year, and he's finishing better and making better moves. Obviously he's very efficient and shooting the ball at an extremely high level. That's it's awesome to see a guy continue to work hard and develop his game. So, for me, I think it's always, for me as a competitor, I always want to play against the best. I'm very excited for this matchup. He's a really, really good player. And I think, I think we both have had some battles, especially last year, but, I'm excited for this one.
Rick Brown.
Luca, what is the value of being on the floor with two other 1,000-point scorers, first of all? And then second of all, what would it mean to you personally to lead the nation in scoring?
I think, obviously it means the world to me to have my teammates, right there by me who can score the ball at the level that they do and have done in their careers. And, CJ Frederick's going to be right there in a couple of years. So, it's awesome. I'm really lucky to have the teammates that I do and to share the floor with Jordan Bohannon and Joe Wieskamp. And for me, honestly, obviously, that would be an accomplishment. But for me, that's not really, what I go into the game focusing on. I'm just trying to do whatever it takes to help my team win. At the end of the day, if I lead the scoring, I think in the future, that's something that I'm going to look back on and be proud of. But, right now, I came back to this team and this university to win. And that's my main focus. But, it definitely would be a special accomplishment.
Jeff Beecham.
Hey, Luca, how hard was it to have, that 8-game difference in between the Illinois game and the Indiana game, especially coming off that loss? But did you see that the team bounced back and that the mentality was right in practice?
Definitely. I think, it's obviously tough when you don't have a, quick, 2-day prep into a next game. But, I think for us, it allowed us some time to work on ourselves and to continue to improve. And I think we've done that. And I think, especially for guys like CJ Frederick, that time off is huge for our team. We need those guys to get healthy. So giving them as much time as they can is definitely, essential. So, I think, obviously, me as a competitor, I would have liked to play, right after the game ended, put up another 40 minutes on the board, but, that's not how the game works. I think, it gave some time and I think practice has been really good and focused, and I'm really proud of our guys, and we're going to continue to do that, today and tomorrow, just to try to improve ourselves as much as we can before we go against one of the best teams in the country in Illinois.
Mark Emmert.
Yeah, Luca, when the schedule came out, a lot of fans were kind of upset that Iowa and Illinois were only going to play once. Did you notice that too? Was that something that you thought about, and were you kind of regretting that was the way it was?
I think you always want to play, the best teams in your conference, twice, especially in the Big Ten race. You want to be able to beat them as many times as you can. So I think, I think when the schedule came out, obviously was looking at all the games. It wasn't really a focus of mine that we only played them once. And I'm just thankful we had the opportunity to play them, and everybody's doing their jobs to be healthy and make sure we're out there to play. So I'm just excited about the matchup. I think there's obviously we could play them a couple more times. Obviously in the Big Ten tournament, and and beyond that, they're a really really good team. So we could see them again. So for me, our focus isn't on anything else but being able to go down to Champaign and execute the game plan to the best of our abilities.
Chad Leisco.
Hi, Luca. Just listening to Connor, I mean, he didn't sound too optimistic that CJ was going to play on Friday. What have you guys learned? I guess you played without him, I think 5 games last year, and obviously a half the other day. What have you learned about yourselves that it can help you in these situations if you don't have him on the floor?
I think our team has dealt with injuries from different guys at different points throughout my whole career. And I think it's always the next man up mentality, and we know what we have to do, and we're going to try to, if he doesn't play, I have no idea. I'm not our trainer. I don't know how he feels. So I know he's been taking his time and trying to get back out there. He's a guy who wants to be out there as bad as anybody, and I know it's killing him. That he wasn't able to play in the second half against Indiana. But for us, with the guys we have, we know we got to go out there and do what we do. And I think, obviously, it would be awesome to have one of the best shooters in the country, out there. But if we don't, we're going to go out there and play as hard as we can, and we're going to have other guys step up and be able to help us win. We did that at Rutgers. We lose Connor McCaffrey early in the first half, and we have other guys step up into that role and perform. And obviously last year, we had J-Bo who got hurt, and obviously CJ was hurt at different points. So we're a team that understands that it's a next man up mentality. We're a deep team. We got a lot of guys who are ready to step up into that moment. But obviously our focus is for him just to try to get back and help him whenever he can, and not to rush it.
Jarek, go ahead.
Hey, Luca, with the way last season ended and then sort of mixed with a tough loss against Indiana, and now you're squaring off against Illinois, in conference rival when you're both ranked, are there more external motivations for you guys heading into this game? And is it sort of tough treating it as business as usual?
I think, every game in the Big Ten, you have to come prepared with a mindset to beat anybody. And, we obviously, didn't have that mindset when we played Indiana and we weren't able to win that game. So I think, for our team, we understand that, each game, is the most important game on our schedule. So we know that we have to focus and be able to go out there and execute our game plan in a building that's hard to play in, and against, one of the best teams in the country. So we understand what we have to do. I think, if you're not motivated to play this game, there's something wrong with you. So I think our whole team is ready and excited. I think on both sides, we got some competitive guys and guys who are excited for this matchup. So, I think, we're going to continue to practice and get better and get as, prepared as we can be. But, we're definitely excited for the opportunity to go against, such a great team.
And Mike Floss.
Luca, are you glad that Kofi and Ayu came back for this season?
Definitely. Like I said, I'm a competitor and I want to play against the best. So, I'm never going to be sitting there rooting for them to leave so I don't have to play them. I don't dodge anybody. And I was excited when they both came back. I think it's good for our league. It's good to just show everybody why the Big Ten is the best league in the country. I'm definitely excited. It's a great thing to have these guys back and all the players who came back in our league. It's just made it a very fun year, and it's going to make it an incredible matchup. So it definitely was something I was excited about, just to get the chance to compete against these guys, again.
All right. Thanks, Luca. Appreciate
you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, man. Hey, so talk to me about, from your perspective, how this Iowa-Illinois rivalry is kind of maybe more so intensified over the last couple of years. Obviously, you and DeMonte Williams, there's that viral photo of you guys going forehead to forehead. And is it easy for you to kind of take the emotion out of, past instances in games with these guys going into Friday?
Yeah, I think you really just gotta focus on the game when it comes to it. You can't think about all that extra stuff. But if something if something arises, obviously we'll deal with it then. I think when it comes to the rivalry, I think it's just probably because we're both better than we have been. Like, I don't know, like I feel like we haven't like both matched up for a little bit. Like they've kind of been like, this is like their up and coming team in terms of their what their fan base thinks and whatnot. Like they're really good, and us, we've had really good teams, but like this is the first time we've kind of both been at kind of like a peak, I guess you might say. So I think that's why we that's why you see all the tension and all the excitement heading up to the game. So I think that's what makes it fun.
Rick Brown.
Connor, as a guy who does a good job of setting up his teammates, what's it like to have be on the floor and have three guys who scored 1,000 points in college?
Yeah, I mean, it makes it pretty easy to play. I mean, I think that with all three of them, and we play really well together too, because we've been playing for so long together. I mean, we've played now. I mean, I've played with Joe and Jordan for I don't even know, tons of years, since elementary school, junior high, and Luca ever since even earlier than we got here, because we went to some camps together. So I think the chemistry that we all have together is really, really good. And I think that, it just makes it fun, makes it fun for me. We have really good offensive stuff that we can go to each other with. And I think, they just all bring so many different weapons that it makes it really hard to guard.
Mark Emmert.
Yeah, Connor, we saw when CJ was out the other day, Keegan took his spot in the lineup. I guess if that happens again Friday, how does that change things for you?
I'll go from the 4 to the 2 for one thing. So I'll be running different plays, from different spots. So that's one of the things. And I would say, other than that, I don't think it changes like a ton, because I do think I'll still handle the ball. I'll still be somebody who is looking to set up everybody else. Keegan will step in and fill that role nicely. Playing really well, playing hard. He's picked us up. And so I think that just when it comes to the lineup, I'll have to adjust on who I'm guarding, and maybe be a little bit more aggressive here and there, because CJ's out. We lose another offensive weapon. So I think a lot of things go into it, but I also think we'll adjust just fine. John
Schaefer.
How long is 8 days for a basketball player to have off in your guys' mind?
I mean, it definitely feels like a long time, but at the same time, I think that we've had some really good practices in there, and we've had a couple off days, to the point where it just kind of felt like, and it was over break too. So we kind of have like, we get into a routine over break where it's pretty much the same schedule every day, to be honest with you. So whether or not we're playing, yes, it does feel weird, but at the same time, we're so worked into a routine that I wouldn't even say, you necessarily notice 100%, how long it is in between days. Now that we're back in school, that'll change up the routine, and now, we're getting back into games, so it'll be a little bit more normal. But I do think that, the way that we handle our business over break and within that season, over winter break, is just it's just something already set in stone. So whether or not we're playing, it doesn't change a whole lot for us. We're just going to do our business the same way.
Jarek, go ahead.
Hey, Connor, between you guys ended the season with a loss against them last year, and then coming off a tough loss against Indiana. And then, like you said, you guys are sort of coming at each other with your peaks between Iowa and Illinois. Do you feel like there are more external motivations in this game? Is it a bit harder to treat it as business as usual?
I would say, this game is definitely hyped up a little bit more than some of our other games. I think not having fans there makes it hard. I think that creates a different environment. Obviously, I'd like to play it with fans. But I do think that, like you said, everything else going on, I think that there might be little bit extra motivation built into this one, just because of kind of like the rivalry that everyone's built it up to be. You know, I've said this before, like growing up here, you know, Illinois was never like a rival for me. It was like Iowa State, you know, you and I even like you even would take like Wisconsin in my opinion, like over them. You know, I feel like Iowa like has a lot of different rivalries. Some are different in basketball and football. Like the football team has all the trophies, but you know, we like growing up for me, it was different. But now, you know, that I'm here, this game is taken more seriously than some of the other ones. So I think that, you know, it's just a game that obviously, like you said, you know, there's extra factors that build into the motivation for the game and it makes it intense and competitive and fun.
Tom Kakert?
Connor, 8 days is a long time to sit with a loss on your mind. How have you kind of processed that and without being able to get back on the court and kind of get rid of that?
Yeah, you know, I think the one way that we've really handled it is by practicing hard. We've had some good practices where we've really gotten after it. Because, you know, I mean, that having that feeling is always, it's not a good feeling in your stomach, you know, after a game. So being able to come into practice and, you know, really get after it is a good feeling. You know, maybe quicker turnaround might have been better just because, you know, you get out there and you kind of have a short memory maybe, but I would say either way, you know, you got to go into your business, you know, going to practice every day with the same intensity. And, you know, I think that we've handled that pretty well.
Chad Lyscombe?
Hey, Connor, just curious, like since the last game of last season happened to be in Champaign and then your season got cut short, is that imagery, I guess, of that particular game, has that stuck with you guys, I guess, throughout the off season?
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone remembers that game, you know, vividly. You know, it was just you know, it was a really good game. To be honest with you, you know, we got down that fight back at the end. You know, I thought we had a good chance. So, you know, I think that's kind of been one that's been talked about. You know, I think people forget all of the other stuff that goes on once rivalry games are kind of a thing. Like I think all other factors go out the window. But you know, coming into this game, I think that, you know, we just have, you know, we're gonna have a game plan on our minds. We'll be ready for whatever they throw at us, and I'm looking forward to it.
Mike Halas?
I think you're still on mute.
Okay, well, I had to do that once.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. As a competitor, are you glad when players like Coburn and Dosunmu come back instead of go pro maybe earlier than they could have or did?
Yeah, no, I think that them coming back, I saw tweets, you know, the day after they decided to come back, like, wow, can't wait for the Iowa-Illinois matchup. And that was you know, that was over the summer, you know, so that was like 5 months in anticipation, I feel like. So, you know, I think that, you know, them coming back, you know, it makes people look forward to this matchup. And I think that, you know, it just brings that much more to the game. And, you know, but you see that all around the country with other players, you know, guys coming back and, you know, wanting to do something for their team. And so, you know, you see guys like them doing it. You know, there's guys all over the league doing it. You know, Livers came back from Michigan. You know, Luke obviously coming back here. And I mean, there's guys, Trace Jackson Davis coming back. You know, there's all different types of players that have come back and, you know, made a statement for their program. And I think that, you know, it makes it fun.
And a final question comes from John Schaefer. Go ahead, John.
I know we're in the throes of basketball season, but baseball-wise, what kind of happens with you as we start nearing the start of the season for that? And is that something you're still going to keep going with this year?
Yeah, so that's been something I've kind of struggled with because, you know, we really have kind of tried to keep a really tight-knit group here with basketball. You know, we've really kind of tried to stay, you know, within ourselves, and, you know, keep the same social circle. So with me, you know, trying to juggle that with, you know, going around the baseball guys, it makes it tough. You know, at the end of the fall season, I started kind of on a different schedule than everybody else on the baseball team because I was just trying to limit my exposures to different people. And I think that, and they've been really, they've been really helpful with that too. They've been understanding, and it's made it easier on me. So I think that, moving forward, I'm expecting, at some point I'll be able to really go back to normal and, have a plan and kind of get into everything that I want to. But as of right now, I've still kind of been somewhat trying to keep my distance, and just keep, my circle kind of tight up to this point.
All right. Thanks, Connor. Appreciate your time today.
Yeah, Joe, the last time you played Illinois, obviously it was over there and you had a really good game and you talked afterwards about how intense it was and how good that was for you as a young player. I guess thinking back on that, what did that game mean for you in terms of your development?
Well, I felt really good that game, going into the game, because I know I put time in, work in the gym, so I know that I was gonna have a good game, and then to finally perform, the way I know I should perform, it felt really good. I just had a good feeling the whole game. Never got down to myself, even when I missed a shot. I just felt like everything was going in for me, everything was going my way.
Mike Halas. Yeah, you're muted,
That
Mike.
was not my fault. The button was stuck. Joe, about Io DeSunmu, what is it like playing against him? What makes him what he is?
Io is a really good basketball player. I mean, I watch film on him, and I watch like his individual film. He just has so many tools. You shoot the ball, mid-range, 3 points, beyond NBA range. He's really fast, good size. Length around the rim. Can play above the rim. He's a good defender. He just has all these tools to him, and he's just a great player. He has all the tools.
Mark Emmert. Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, staying on that topic, I guess Io has kind of made it clear that he doesn't really like you guys. Is that? I mean, do you feel the same way about them? Is there a little bit of edge to this rivalry in your mind?
To be honest, I don't really like anybody, if I'm being honest with you. Like that's just how it is, in basketball. Off the court, I mean, we're friends, but on the court, I don't like anybody at all. So yeah, I guess you could say that I don't like them.
Jarek.
Hey Joe, with how last season ended against Illinois, and then now coming off of a tough loss against Indiana, now Illinois, Iowa going up against it ranked in conference play. Is there some external motivations for you guys, maybe more so than a normal game would?
I would say we treat every game the same. Definitely motivation, but we treat every game the same. We're gonna have to come out and compete. Illinois is a really good basketball team with a really good coach, so we're gonna have to come out and compete. Bring our best game on a away, and hopefully we get the W.
Mark Emmert.
Yeah, Joe, it sounds like CJ may be a little bit status in doubt again. If it comes down to it and you're out there at the point guard with Jordan Bohannon at the 2, I guess, what are some of the strengths of that combination in your mind?
Just me finding him, to be honest. Jordan's a really good shooter, as everybody knows. He's a very hot. He gets hot when he gets going. Like in the beginning, he gets hot. And when he gets hot, I just keep looking for him. Like practice. When he gets hot, I just keep looking for him. So like he's just me and him together. I mean, obviously I'm really fast. I can get anybody the ball. But just telling him like, hey, like when I come down, you're behind me, or like if I drive down to the left, just slide to the corner. Things like that. Get him going.
Did you have a follow-up, Mark? Are you good there? Sorry.
Yeah, I guess you came in late in the game against Indiana and got some things done. I guess what did you feel like you were particularly effective at in those final minutes?
Just energy. We just lacked energy in that game, and when I came in, I try to bring the energy. That's what I try to do every time I get in. Just bring energy, try to bring a different gear. Try to, just keep the engine going. Just trying to motivate everybody else. Just try to get some stops, get some steals. So I can get everybody else going, and just trying to stay positive.
John Schaefer.
Joe, does 8 days feel a lot longer for you guys when you're in the middle of the season like this, off time?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely feels like a long time. It's not really that long though, if you really think about it, but to us, it just feels very, very, slow. nothing's going on, it's just very slow.
And Chad Lesko?
Very, very slow. So how are you dealing with, I mean, you're not playing as much as you want to, I'm sure. It seems like you have a really good attitude about it, but how does that drive you internally when you're not getting on the court as much? And do you see maybe these upcoming games as a chance to, show what you can do with more time?
To be honest, I don't focus on that. However much time I play, I try to put my best effort towards it, whether it's 7 minutes or it's 19 minutes. I stay in the gym, so like that stuff like really doesn't affect me. And I always cheer my teammate on. I want to see my teammates do good. When I'm in the game, and I expect that from them, I want them to cheer for me. So, and I know when I'm out the game, they want me to cheer for them. So I don't really focus on those things like that.
How's your 3-point shot coming along? I mean, you haven't taken a ton in the games, but I know that's something you wanted to work on. How's that coming?
Yeah, it's going well. I just work on that every single day. Just repetition every single day. It's coming really good, to be honest with you. But this team doesn't need me to shoot threes, to be honest with you. They need me to distribute the ball, and that's what I'm here to do.
All right, any further questions for Joe today? All right, Joe, thank you